I'm gonna try to do this again. Go live. I just realized only like recorded like 1 minute. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm sure the internet's very shaky. Um, so I don't know if it's gonna. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna try to see if I can record longer or more. So we'll see. Um, but yeah, last night a tornado hit Pendleton, the area I live in, and it's pretty bad, if I do say so myself. And I'm okay. Obviously, I'm doing this, but the town and the everywhere around, including my house and everything, was damaged pretty badly, and it was pretty rough to say the least. So um, it was not a fun experience yesterday. I can't ever honestly say I've ever been in a tornado. Yeah, no kidding. I cannot honestly say it was an experience I would like to relive. The Wizard of Oz made it look so much fun, but it wasn't really as fun as it made it look. I mean, Dorothy Gale from Kansas, she definitely oversold the whole tornado being an exciting thing. There was no Yellow Brick Road, there was no Tin Man, no Cowardly Lion, no Scarecrow, no midgets, no nothing. But my house almost got pulled up off the ground like her house, it felt like. The town is like completely crippled that I live in. And yeah, it was pretty scary. Luca's okay. He was at his mom's house, and that's where I'm actually at right now. That's probably why you see a completely different like background. Where I'm at her house. But they live about 10 minutes away, luckily. So their area didn't really. They had some thunderstorms, they had some wind, but as you all know how tornadoes work. It could be right next to you, and then the people next to you, the house next to you is totally fine. It could hit your house, and the next house like nothing ever touched it. Just the way those storms work. So this area where they live was unscathed. But yeah, I'm back. Thanks, Troy. It looks like it's working right now. The internet's working a little bit better this time around, so that's good. But yeah, to see Mother Nature do what it did yesterday, like you don't really appreciate it until it happens to you, I think. And then when it happens to you, you realize like how grateful you are if you come out of it. How powerful Mother Nature really is. It also makes you feel how insignificant and small you really are because there was nothing that can be done. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can say to stop it. It's just going to keep going. So to see like 100-year-old trees or 200-year-old trees get uprooted and thrown onto people's houses, thrown into the middle of the road. Like there was every major road in my town is like you can't go through it basically. They've been trying all night to like cut down the trees on the roads and pull them out of the road so you can get through. But it's bad. And, to see people's houses like decimated from the trees being uprooted, because the town I live in, I think they were established in the 1800 something. So that's a pretty old town. And so there's lots and lots of those old trees everywhere. And the town's like a historic town. On top of that, they have some kind of, they're on the National Registry or something for historic towns in America. So they really take their pride in the historical nature of our town. And those trees were just flung on people's houses. So those old trees on top of those old houses, pretty rough. Power lines, the lines were down, the poles were down, exposed lines were everywhere. all kinds of damage to people's houses that weren't affected necessarily by a tree landing on it. My house, mostly my garage, but I think my roof took some damage from what I could see. I'm not 100% for sure because it was at night, but there was like shingles ripped off my garage, parts of my garage. The gutter on the garage had been like pulled off. So that was pretty scary. And, my house, like I think I've mentioned this before to some people, my house isn't very big. I always say it's like a glorified apartment. It's shaped like a box. And yeah, man, I'm okay. It was pretty intense, Aaron. Thanks. But I felt like it was getting ready to get ripped from its foundation. And, I don't have a basement. So there's no like really seeking refuge in a basement. I, have interior rooms in my house with no windows and all that. So when you hear those things, that's what you want to go do. Honestly, I didn't realize how bad it was until it's pretty much on us or on me, because it wasn't us. It was just me in my house by myself because Luca was at his mom's. So I actually tried to open the door because earlier in the day we had another thunderstorm and it was bad, but it was a thunderstorm. You get those. So I just thought it was like kind of like an after effect, just kind of like rumbling through town or rumbling through the area. When I went to go try to open my front door, because I saw, like, man, this looks really bad. Like it's like clouds were low. You could start seeing kind of like funnels forming, but you're thinking it can't be really a tornado or tornadoes, plural. But I mean, the wind was so powerful going through my house. Like I felt like I was feeling it move, like literally like move off of its foundation. So it's like, I'm going to try to open the door and just like look out the window and get like a better view, or look out the door, and get a better view. I couldn't even open my door. The wind was so strong. I don't think I'm like the weakest guy in the world, but I don't think I'm I'm definitely not the strongest. But I mean, like I should be able to open the front door with little to no exertion of exerting any real power, and I was unable to, with both hands, pull the door open. It was so powerful, and at that point, I realized how much like danger could be coming my way. So that's when I went back to lock the door and go back inside the house and not try to be a storm chaser. That's not what I was attempting, and try to ride it out. And when I went outside after it was over, when you can kind of feel like it was safe to kind of go outside, I live around a bunch of old people. Well, not a whole lot, but my neighbors directly to the east and west of me are older, and one's like super old and sickly. We go check on her and her family. She has like teenage grandkids that come there and help or something. The gentleman on the other side of me, they're very capable, but they're older, and so you don't want to make sure they were okay. And I want to go check on everybody else in our little cove that we live in. Everybody was fine. Our houses in our direct little section seemed to be fine. We took a lot of wind damage. Like I said, a lot of our houses were probably affected, and roofs from the hail and from the terrible wind. But the surrounding area, like directly behind my house, directly in front of my house, like caddy corner across, there's a soccer field. On the other streets, they were like completely decimated. There were trees landed on their house. They were pulled up from their roots, these 100-year-old trees or whatever, and on their houses. It was all over the streets. The soccer field, the goals in the soccer field, they were pulled up and they were like spun around like tops 20 feet up in the sky, flung around all over the area. They're like all over the place. It was like tops that you would spin, and then they were pulled up off the ground and just like flung all over the fields. Were everywhere. They were everywhere. Exposed power lines were down. When the poles came down, lines were everywhere. I mean, there was like no power, of course, in the entire town. Like, a lot of times maybe some of us experience like a power outage, like it goes out for a couple hours or whatever, maybe even, a day. I mean, they're talking about like a long while. Because like the entire town's crippled. Like there's no power. Like when I got in my car to come over to check on Luca this morning at his mom's, I mean, it was like a ghost town. It was like something from some old Hollywood movie where you just come out of your house and there's like nobody there. It's kind of like if you ever seen The Walking Dead, the very first scene when he walks out of The Walking Dead, or 28 days later when he comes out of the hospital for the first time and he's walking around. It was like that. I didn't hear a bird chirping. There was no power. There was no lights on. There was no static. There was no people in their cars. There was nothing. The only thing that you saw were service vehicles, cops and firefighters, and they weren't even out and about. They were in their vehicles trying to keep people off the roads. They've been working, I guess, all night. Maybe they were taking a break. I don't know, but there was like nobody out. What's bad when the McDonald's is down? They're like, man down, man down. Well, when McDonald's is down, it's like serious business. McDonald's doesn't go down for nothing. So, it's pretty bad. And that was on the far side of town. That's like on the outskirts of the town where I live. I mean, like I live in a historic district, and there's like no commercial type stuff around. Yeah, Alan. The twister hit all around my house, dude. All around. And luckily, my house was, it was damaged. My house and my garage was damaged, but nothing compared to what other people experienced. I mean, it was like a God thing that I was spared. My life was spared, but which is the most important. But outside of that, you're talking about like insignificant things. My house was spared and my garage was spared compared to other people. My car was spared. But there was definitely damage for sure. How much and what extent for me, I don't know, but for my neighbors and my people that in my immediate vicinity are bad. It was really bad. I didn't even know if I was gonna be able to leave town because they shut the town down. But they shut the town down, so they let me leave because I was coming to see Luca. I don't know if they would let me leave if I didn't do that. Sorry, I just got a text. Everybody's, which I appreciate everybody's checking on me and all that. But yeah, so it was not the way I wanted to spend my end of my Friday. Or I'm sorry, end of my weekend, my Monday, Memorial Day weekend. That was not the way I wanted to end it, with a big old exclamation point. That was not the way I wanted it to end. But it could have ended worse. So I'm glad it was okay. Most importantly, I'm glad Luca was fine, which he was fine, and then me, I'm glad I'm okay too. Yeah, obviously, I don't know. I'm by far a meteorologist or whatever, but from what I have seen in the area of Pendleton, where I drove through to get to where I'm at today, and from what I've seen other people post on social media or Twitter or whatever, their experiences in and around the area I live in, it might have been it had to be more than one, because, it was, or if it was the same one, it was like coming down, hitting, pulling up, moving, coming down, hitting, pulling up, because it didn't stay on the ground. It just kept destroyed everything that it hit. Because then if that was the case, it would have hit my house, because, I was in an area of where it was hitting, but it didn't hit my area. We all know how tornadoes work. They pop up and come down, but sometimes they just stay and just destroy everything in its sight. Like it just keeps going. But you could tell like it was hitting, pulling up, and hitting, or it was multiple tornadoes possibly, because it wasn't like people's houses were being ripped apart. It wasn't like that kind of tornado, so I don't make it sound like it was that. But it was obviously extremely powerful and very dangerous and super scary. But it wasn't like holding onto the ground and then just destroyed everything in its path. Because if that was the case, you would have seen houses decimated. That didn't happen. Thankfully that didn't happen. So anyways, it was it definitely blew your hair back a bit, to say the least. Luckily, I had a haircut recently, or else my hair would have been whoosh, right on back. But until you actually are in a tornado like that, you really don't understand how powerful it is, I don't think. It's one thing when you hear people say it, and I was one of those people. When somebody ever talks about like a natural disaster online, I'm always like, man, that sucks for them. But you don't really understand what it's like because it doesn't happen to you. And, in my 40 years on this earth, I've had a couple earthquakes I've experienced, typhoon, tsunami, when I lived in Asia a couple of times. And then now a tornado, So I could be done with natural disasters for the rest of my life and be okay with that. I like to live the next, hopefully 50-ish years or a little more with no natural disasters if I can avoid it. That would be great. But yeah. So yeah, for sure. A friend of mine who was checking on me. I just want to make sure I was letting them know I'm okay. So that's why I was looking away. Sorry. I just want to make sure people know I'm okay. Some people, most people have Facebook. That's why I posted on Facebook today to let people know who didn't know I'm okay, and people who didn't even know what was happening, what happened, just so they know if they did hear it down the road. Because my parents and my family down in Southern Indiana, when they wake up this morning, they're probably going to be like, "Do what?" So I didn't want them to wake up and be freaking out because I don't know if with my house and where I live, there's no power. So I'm at my ex's house right now with my son because school got canceled, as you'd expect. And I have the opportunity now to try to let everybody know, hey, I'm okay, because I had no way of doing that when I was at home because power went out at right around 8:00 last night and then still out. It probably will stay out for the foreseeable future. They made it sound like over the next 3 or 4 days they might be able to get things back up and running, but there's no set time because the entire town's out. I mean, this is completely crippled the town. It literally looks like the set of the movie Twister, or just pick any random disaster, disaster film, and that's what it feels like. It looks like. I'm not trying to make light of it because it's not anything to make light of. It was seriously intense and scary. But you kind of have to explain it the best way you can. It was crazy. It was like people yesterday after the major part of it was over. We're riding around because you couldn't get around in your car, so people were riding around on their bicycles, checking on people. And I just kept thinking, is this something out of Wizard of Oz? Is there because I'm it's you're gonna be hearing that do 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 do, and you just see the Wicked Witch of the West on her, or East, no, it's West, on her bike riding around as the tornado pulls up everybody, and you see her turn into the witch, and she's flying around on her broom, but she starts out on her bike. And there's all these people on bikes riding around town trying to check on people, which is great. I mean, obviously I was checking on people immediately close to me, but I didn't want to take a chance of being too far away from my house on my bicycle riding around. And if it came back, they kept on saying there was more coming. They kept on saying, get back in your houses, stay off the streets, stay out of the roads. We have more severe weather coming our way. And we had some more weather come our way, but it was not any more tornadoes or anything like that. I mean, luckily the tornado just came the one time or multiple times or whatever. It didn't, but it wasn't coming every 15, 20 minutes, kept showing back up or whatever. So that was good because they were, of course, they didn't want people to be safe. And I appreciate the fact they were trying to alert people that, we're not out of the woods yet. You need to be careful. Yeah, it was super intense. Super intense. I mean, that's the word for the day. Pee Wee Herman's Pee Wee's Playhouse. What's the word of the day, Screen? And it would definitely be, the word would be intense. I don't think I've ever been in a situation that intense in my entire life. When it comes to Mother Nature or something that's Excuse me. I didn't get hardly any sleep last night, as you might expect. Anything that comes into powerful that you feel like you have no control over, and what you don't, because you realize how weak and insignificant you really are in the big scheme of things, because there's nothing you can do to control Mother Nature. There's nothing you can do to stop her. There's nothing you can do to slow her down. If you're in the path of Mother Nature, whatever that is, then you're just going to hope to God that you make it through, because there's nothing that can be done to lessen your or greatly increase your odds of surviving. If it's coming your way, you're just going to have to batten down the hatches and just hope for the best. And so that's definitely kind of what I experienced yesterday, which I don't really would like to never experience again. I got my taste of it, and that's all I would like to ever have, quite frankly. So yeah, I mean, kind of thinking back about it, I kind of realized at the time, I don't really at the time yesterday when it was happening, I don't think I really realized how fortunate I was that, I was okay. It could have been way worse. Way worse. I mean, like, when I look around and see how everybody else came out, I came out a lot better than a lot of people. I have to have some thinking that it had to do with like wanting the storm didn't want to destroy my Ichiro collection. That's what I have to keep thinking to myself. Like, the storm saw how amazing the Ichiro collection I have there is, and they was like, we don't want to tear this up. We want to make sure we preserve that for Jason. So we're just gonna scare the pants off of them, but we're gonna kind of like let it slide through. That we're not gonna be completely decimate his house. So I mean, that's what I'm attributing it to right now. But yeah, it was an experience, to say the least. Yeah, I couldn't even go outside. Excuse me, Alan. I couldn't even go outside, Alan. I couldn't even open my door. The wind was so powerful. I could not open my door. I used both hands trying to open the front door, and I couldn't do it. It was the wind was so strong. I couldn't open the door to go outside until it was over, because it was so powerful. Not that I wanted to go outside anyways, but I wanted to just see how bad it was, because more of my houses, there's so many trees. It was hard to get a good angle to see it because the power went out. So that's when I was like, what's happening? So it was like before you knew it, they sent out an alert that says your area may only got to like hurt Ichiro. Indeed. They sent out an alert within like just a few minutes after the alert that said, hey, seek shelter, get out of the elements. Tornado could be coming your way. They send that on your cell phone. And before I even could like almost look at the message, it was already power went boom out. And then it got like super dark, super gray, super fast. And then even though it was like 8 o'clock, it felt like it was a midnight. It was so dark you couldn't hardly even see. So, and then all of a sudden the wind kicked up, and that's when you realize, like, what is happening? Like, this is way more intense than 5 minutes ago. So, oh my goodness. But I couldn't even open the door. It was that bad. Beth, hey. You found me on YouTube? How is that? Because you're pretty sneaky.
Who is it?
Kaysen's mom.
Who's?
Kaysen.
Oh, Kaysen.
You're one of those people, Alan. That's not me, man. That's not me. Hey, Beth. Thanks for hopping on. Yeah, I made it this morning over to Luca's mom's house, because where they live, there wasn't any real damage to my knowledge. It was, they have obviously their power and all that. So it took a while to get out. You're downtown like me, you know our area, and they shut everything down. They let me out because I was coming to see Luca, but yeah, it was awful. Like, you can't get into town. Like, they're not letting people in, I guess, unless you have business there. Like, you live there. I'm sure they'll let you back in, but But I don't know. I'm not. You don't. I don't think yesterday you'd want to go out there in the middle of it because tornadoes were all over the place. Apparently, I only saw my area what the damage was done yesterday when it was happening, but this morning when I went out, it was awful, awful, absolutely awful. So okay. I don't want to say where you're at, but I know where you're at because this is online, so I don't want to. That's not anybody's business. But well, I'm glad you're at your dad's for sure. It was so nice. Allison last night told me, she's like, if you need to, you can come over to our house, Jason. And I thought it was very sweet of her. But I was like, I don't really want to come over with you, have your whole family there. And, apparently there's other people in the community might be coming over to their house too. I was like, that's like too much going on. They're in the same boat we are. They have no power and all that. So, I was like, I didn't really want to crash at their house because I felt like that might be just too much to ask. That was very gracious of them. But I was just like, I guess I'm just going to write it out here where I'm at, it sucks being by yourself in a situation like that. But, it is what it is. Yeah, you're in Hagerstown. Hagerstown apparently survived, Alan, so that's good. I'm glad you guys didn't experience what we did. It was, I didn't realize how bad it really was until I got outside last night and got to walk around. And then this morning it was awful. I don't know what you saw in your area, what you saw, but it was an experience. Just to say that, and it was an experience. So yeah, I mean, today is gonna be mostly me just sitting there chilling here at the house with Luca, making sure, try to have some semblance of normalcy, I guess. We'll try to find out with my job, like what the deal is with that. Because I mean, there's nothing I can do, there's nothing I can do for the time being. Hopefully they have some sort of policy in place where they'll be able to I can get some kind of, I'm not like burning through PTO time or getting points or whatever. Like I hate to feel like those are the things I got to worry about, but I don't know. Well, Alan, don't tempt fate, dude. Saying it's still like 80 years, man. Don't tempt fate. That's not good. Hold on, I'm just like responding to people. There you go, Beth. You should have told me. I would have come over and joined you for that. Because at least at that point, I was like, at that point, if I'm having you're enjoying, you're imbibing a little bit. At that point, you're kind of like you drop your guard. You don't feel like you're as concerned anymore. You're not as lucid, maybe. But yeah, that's hilarious. I was a little bit nervous about anything happening to me or the house or whatever. Like I never experienced anything like that, and I don't want to ever experience anything like that ever again. I'm glad that you were just like gonna write it out, drinking a glass of wine, like, whatever happens, happens. I'm just gonna sit here, chill, listen to the sirens go off, have a couple glasses of wine, keeping it classy, pinky out the entire time. You're like, if it hits, it hits. I'll be on a good time, Come and get me. I'm right over here. You missed. So yeah. Well, I will tell you, Alan. I'm from the Ohio River Valley in Louisville or Jeffersonville, Indiana. So we're right on the Ohio River, and we're in the valley. We're deep in the valley, going down. And people used to say that in Indiana, or I'm sorry, in Jeffersonville area, tornadoes really won't ever hit our area because of how deep we are in the valley. However, in 1992 or 3 or something like that, 1990, one of the worst tornadoes that ever hit Indiana hit the town next to me, New Albany, Indiana, and like completely decimated parts of the New Albany. And they're in the valley too. I mean, we're all in the Ohio River Valley. And, this, it was way worse than what happened in Pendleton, that's for sure. So I'm sure overall it's probably less likely. I'm sure you're correct with that assessment because you're in a deeper valley and it doesn't probably will happen as much. But it can happen because it happened like the town next to ours. And it's a big town too. I mean, it had lots of people, lots of buildings, a lot of businesses. It wasn't some small little podunk town. It's a town with 50, 60, 70,000 people or easily, I'm sure. And it completely, in one certain parts of the town, were completely just annihilated by a tornado. So I'm sure it is definitely true that it's probably less likely, but it can happen. But let's just hope with that thinking, you're thinking that we'll just keep it that way, that if you're in a valley, you're going to be safe. However, Pendleton's not in a valley, as we just found out yesterday. And it might feel like a valley now because of all the devastation that went through town. So yeah, man, it's super intense. I'm just sorry. I'm looking at my phone because people are texting me and messaging me, and I just want to make sure I respond to their messages, letting people know I'm okay. So I don't want anybody to think I'm being rude. And I'm not responding to your all's situation. So I'm still looking up. I'm just glad Beth rode out the storm drinking. Good for you, Beth. Oh my goodness gracious. Keeping it classy all the way. Keeping it. I'm just looking down. Please feel free to talk or ask questions or just chat with me. I'm just trying to, like I said, respond real quick. I'm here. And oh gracious. Oh my goodness. So yeah. So I'm kind of like barely hanging on here. Like I didn't get any sleep last night, hardly. I kept waking up. I mean, my house was hotter than Hades because the power went out. So no fan, no electricity, no air conditioner, no nothing. It was awful. So I'm like sitting there sweating. I felt like I was in like the 7th layer of hell. It was so hot. It was awful. So I'm just hey, what's up? I mean, no, like, there's no power. There's like no way for me to get ready for work. I have no heat. I have no electricity. Like nothing. I mean, I have nothing going on. Like I had to come to Lucas' mom's just so I could like check on him. Sorry, it's been awful. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go to work or not. I mean, I sent an email to my bosses or whatever and said, hey, my situation is a town shut down. They're not letting people in and out. I have no electricity, I have no power, I have no nothing. I mean, I don't know what I mean, I've never experienced anything like this. I don't know what they want us to do. I don't know what I would be able to do. I mean, I guess starting tomorrow, if they're just like, sorry about you got to be in at work, which, it is what it is. I mean, I guess I could take a shower here and get cleaned up and then go home and then get ready to go to work tomorrow. I just don't know. I mean, I don't know. I would hope they have some kind of policy that says if you experience a natural disaster and the town shut down because houses, power lines, and poles are all over the place and the cops and everybody's shutting the town down, that you only should be leaving in emergency situations or whatever, that they're going to let us stay. But that kind of thing's above my pay grade. I'm just a cog in the wheel going around and around and around and around. So who knows? Who knows? Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man. I'm glad I'm safe too. Trust me, it was not an experience that I ever would like to relive. I don't want to go through that ever again. It was not a good time. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was super intense. Hey, Luca, do you have does your mom have any water I can have, like a bottle of water or a glass of water? Can you give me one, please?
You want milk or water?
Water, please, if you don't mind. Are you going to play some Fortnite tonight?
I will.
Or today?
I'm just like, oh, I can go.
Yeah, just kind of ease into today. Thanks, buddy.
Is this a good enough cook?
That's perfect.
It'd be funny if I grabbed this up.
Here, can you show me that? I'm going to show that to them.
I've had it since I was really young.
Luca was like, hey, I'll get you some water, Dad, in this cup right here. So, it's like he's had this cup since he was like 2 or 3 years old. And I was like, well, I mean, you can if you would like to give me water in this cup, but it'll be done in like 2 seconds.
Here and there, you'll take it as a shot.
Oh, he's going to give me this as a shot glass. That's a big shot, though. That's a huge shot. If it could be a shot like that, you're going to see me pass out. Thanks, Bob. That hit the spot. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. Yeah. Alex just had a shot glass. There you go. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've never experienced a tornado. People go back and watch the video. They might hear me say this again. I mean, I'm sure I'll be repeating myself a few times throughout this morning. So I'm just going to kind of talk and, goof off, I guess, because there ain't nothing else to do. But, I've never experienced a tornado before. I had earthquakes a couple of times. One time in Indiana, it wasn't nothing big. 1 or 2 times in Japan, again, nothing huge. I mean, stuff rattling around and all that, nothing big. I've experienced a tsunami and typhoon living in Japan and Asia. Those were pretty scary because it's like a tornado except with water, and that was pretty scary. But I never experienced an actual tornado until last night. And like I was saying before, like when people say, I this natural disaster just hit, I'm okay, or this happened in my town or whatever, you're just like, man, that sucks for them. And you feel like, bad for them, but there's not really much you can say or do because you don't know what it's like. Well, now I know what it's like. Now I can actually say, I know what you went through, and that was not a pleasurable experience. Not everybody's going to be sitting around their house drinking wine, pinkies out, enjoying the weather like some people I know. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, like it was definitely, I mean, like I said, the earthquakes were like nothing. I mean, earthquakes were like barely anything to even, like, I barely even say an earthquake happened because it felt like it was so insignificant. But, it was an earthquake. So, it is, I did experience it. It wasn't anything like crazy. So, well, for sure. They just sent me a thing in the Pendleton area that says, let us know if you're okay. So they said, check the box if you're okay. And then it says, we're glad you're okay. Now that you've told your friends, you can offer to help people nearby or ask for help. Things like food, toiletries, or clothing can make a big difference. It says ask for help or offer help. Yes. It sounded like a freight train going through the house. Like it literally felt like I was Dorothy Gale from Kansas and my house is about ready to rip off the foundation and get thrown through the air. I'm not going to ask for help at this current juncture. But yeah, I mean, it was really, it did feel bad. I mean, you felt, because my house isn't big. I mean, you saw my house, Beth, you know. Alan, you've been in my house, you know, buddy. You know, my house isn't a big house. I mean, my house is a glorified apartment, basically. And, you know, it probably wouldn't take much to, you know, to really get it going. Sorry, I just sent in a text and somebody asked me a question. But yeah, so it was, you know, it was, yeah, the color of the skies, it was like pitch black when I first noticed it. Like it was 8 o'clock, which was right before that was super sunny and bright outside. And then it felt like it was like midnight. And then it turned gray. And then I had that green hue and yellowish hue, red hue in there. And that's when you know you're like, it's getting ready to go down. And then when I couldn't even leave my house, like I was trying to go outside just to see because I had the angles in my house. It's kind of hard to see because there's so many big trees. You can't really see the sky in certain spots. I was going to try to open the door and I couldn't even open my door. The wind was so strong. It wouldn't even let me open the door. And I'm not like, I'm not a bodybuilder, but I'm also not like the weakest guy in the world either. Like, you know, I feel like I'm somewhere in like the average range of being able to open a front door. And I couldn't even open the front door with both hands on the knob trying to pull it open. I couldn't open it. I was like, all right, you know what? That's probably God's way of saying, just don't be that guy that walks out and just tries to like take a gander. Cause you know, I didn't have my umbrella, so I wasn't gonna be like Mary Poppins and like, you know, fly around and, you know, land safely. It was going to be taken away. So I just was like, maybe I should go back inside the house, go inside of an interior room in my house and then just hope for the best. So that's what I did. So, yeah. Oh, my goodness gracious. So, yeah, it was pretty crazy. Not something I would like repeat anytime soon. Yeah, no basement, man. My house is on a slab, which, you know, I was hoping if I would have had enough time, one of my neighbors who I'm pretty good friends with, they have a basement and they have a brand new house. And so like I was going to probably go to their house. They would have been fine with me coming over and staying with them until everything was over. But it happened so fast. Like I like literally got the alert on my phone that says in the next 15 minutes, severe thunderstorms and possible tornadoes in your area, you know, typical thing. But like as soon as I got that, the tornado hit. Like as soon as it popped up, it was like all of a sudden you could hear the wind like smashing against the house. So at that point I was like, I don't think I'm gonna take a chance of running outside. So I'm just gonna batten down the hatches and hope for the best. Pinky out, Beth, pinky out. So, but yeah, I mean, you know, it was needless to say, pretty intense. You gotta hold on to your hat because it was gonna fly off. It was crazy. Like you see all these old people out yesterday walking the streets after the fact. Like people who were like, we're like talking about like literally in their mid 60s to like probably early 80s. And they're just like a bunch of like teenage kids walking around, chit-chatting with each other. Like this is like a cool, look, we're all still here. Let's all check around the neighborhood and walk around. And like, remember back in 1943 when the big one hit us? It was like crazy. And I'm all like shell shocked. And they're just like, we're here. I guess when you get to that age, you're just kind of like, I made it this long. I'm glad I survived another one. That's what people were actually talking about. Oh, you remember there, Bob, that back in 52, that one that hit over here? Yeah, man, it was crazy. I saw when I was a kid, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, are we already there? Are we already there that we're talking about back in the 50s, back in the 40s, when one hit here, Middleton, right over there on Columbia Street or whatever they would say? And I was just like, guys, this one barely has even left the building, and we're already talking about the good old days and how, how many of you've seen. Yeah. Oh, I mean, it was great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not making fun. Like, I thought it was hilarious. I loved every minute of it. But it just that. If I was that old, I think I'd be like so grateful. Like, I'd probably still be like shaking in my boots at like I'm okay. But they're out there just like, woo, yeah, we did it. You didn't get us, tornado. It's like, I was like, okay. And I'm over here like shaking in my flip-flops, and they're just like out there walking the streets. Like, when I saw a bunch of old people in the street, I felt like it was safe to come out at that point. I'm like, you know what? I'm good. Exactly. That's why bottoms up. Yeah. I'm sure I would too. If I wasn't so scared about self-preservation, I'm sure I would have went out of the gate like that. But I think I was so shaken up by it. I was just like, I don't know if I'm quite there yet. Oh my goodness gracious. It was a sight to behold. Let me just tell you that much. Oh my god. Yeah, exactly. Back in that's why I almost wanted to say that when those guys were like, remember back in 43? I almost want to be like, remember back in 91? But I refrained from saying that because I thought they'd be like, listen, little youngster. The adults are talking right now, kiddo. We'll talk to you. You don't talk unless you're being spoken to, or something like that. So I was like, I'm gonna hold off on putting in my 2 cents. Hey, Luca, Did you clean up? Okay. So yeah, it was needless to say, it was intense, super intense. Oh man. I just marked myself safe. Whatever, dude. Mike, why? Mike, you need to worry about California having an earthquake and you all snapping off and floating into the ocean somewhere. Get out of here. I'll take a tornado over the stuff that you deal with in California on an everyday basis. So yes, did I feel like my life was literally in the air yesterday? Yes, I did. Did I feel like at any given time I could get snuffed out? Yes, I did. Would I take that experience and then say I'd rather move to California? No, I'd rather take my chances in Indiana. So that's how much I am not interested to ever have anything to do with California. But it's good that you like it there, and I'm glad you do. But no, it was but the other thing, that kind of thing happens so rarely. Then it's not like that's an everyday thing, but yeah. But yeah. Like Alan said, Indiana, any day. Yeah, for sure. For sure. It was like, I know myself, and I know I couldn't like handle living in a place like California. I know so Mike, that's awesome. Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. There was like somebody. Like, here's the thing. Well, apparently they didn't think you were safe. They thought you were, they thought they already knew you were safe, Beth. You're drinking a little bit of the old bubbly. They were like, oh, she's fine. She doesn't need a check-in. I will say, Beth and Alan and the people who are here in Indiana, I guess it's for anybody really. There's somebody on some of the Facebook pages for the towns that we live in, the town we live in, that is putting up their tree removal service flyers up. Nothing like devastation to bring out some money on you, to have people come out and spend money. It's just like crazy. Hey, what's up, Steve? Thank you. Yeah, dude, it was definitely something, man. It was something that I don't really want to ever experience again if I'm completely truthful here. Oh my goodness gracious. It was yeah, but there's like people actually posting things on the different town message boards. I just got a text message from Bink Scott. But yeah, I mean, but they're like people already there's like vulture. I don't know. I don't want to use the word vulture. I mean, I'm sure they're trying to be help. I'm sure the service is trying to help people. I just feel like it's not even been one day and they're already posting their on their message boards and Facebook groups and everything. Oh, do you need tree removal? Seeing lawyers. I don't know. It's whatever, whatever. I mean, they're offering a service that's definitely needed. So I guess you can just look at it either way. But I would say let people kind of grieve or get through their initial traumatic experience. Yeah, it's very predatory. That's the word I'm looking for. Exactly. I mean, they are trying to help people, but I feel like at the same time it's very self-serving. I'm just grateful that I'm not going to need to call for their services. My house was damaged and my garage was damaged. But, I'm okay. And, obviously more importantly, Luke is okay. He didn't even experience, it was like 10, 15 minutes away. It's like it never even happened. Like what happened in my area, it's like it didn't even touch here. It was like business as usual, bottoms up. So, yeah. But, yeah. So, Beth, you still drinking wine right now at your pop's house? Yeah, I didn't realize it was. I didn't realize it was on the news. Yes, it went from black as night, like midnight, to somewhat gray, like the skies were opening up when the tornadoes were coming through, to like a yellowish green to red. It was scary. Wow, Aaron, I didn't know you were from Oklahoma, dude. Then yeah, Oklahoma's like Tornado Alley. So you definitely know, man. And that is crazy, dude. Like I didn't even know. Yeah, man. I really appreciate the kind words, Aaron. Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. It's fine. I don't know what, I don't want to sound like, I don't know what it's like compared to other people. I mean, obviously, first things first, I've seen tornadoes on TV where a tornado touches down and then literally rips houses apart and people are dying. That's not what experienced today. I mean, or yesterday. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like it's that, because it was not that. I'm grateful that it wasn't that. To me, what I felt like it happened was it was like a tornado or multiple tornadoes coming down mid sky and pulling things up that were off. There was off the ground like trees telephone poles, maybe people's roofs and things. So it wasn't like on the actual ground, because if it was on the ground, then there would have been a lot more devastation than I think that we saw. It's awful. The town I live in is crippled at this point in time, but it could have been way worse. I don't think anybody passed or passed away or anything from the storm. So I don't make it sound like that. So, I'm sure, Aaron, you said you had some small ones. So I don't know how small they were in reference to, big ones. But it was definitely scary. And like with what Steve said, it was like, it was red. It was like this reddish hue, like something straight out of like a horror movie. It was, I didn't realize how bad it really was until I couldn't even open my front door to go outside because the wind was so strong that I couldn't even open my front door with both hands. It was like not letting me open the door. It was so strong. And I don't even have the news turned on in here yet because the power, every piece of power, electricity, internet's all down in the town I live in. Like everything's down. Like it's like literally I don't even hear birds chirping this morning when I left to come over to Luca's mom's house so I could watch him and kind of like get myself together because I was like I was alone in that house by myself and I'm like, this is awful. Like, this is not the way I want to go out. Like, this is not my idea to exit this mortal coil here. So yeah. And then I had to sleep in the complete, like it was like sweltering into my house, no air conditioning, no fans, no nothing, no lights. It was like completely dark. I felt like I was in like some kind of like a insane asylum or something, and I was the only person there. So yes. So I don't know what the TVs are showing in your all's neck of the woods. I know we have New York, California in here, parts of Indiana with where you guys are from, New Jersey area and all that. I don't know what they're saying in our area, if they're showing Pendleton, which is where I live, if they're saying Pendleton on the news or not, or they're just saying like Indiana towns or whatever. And I don't know if we got the worst or if we're one of the lucky ones, I don't know. I definitely feel very fortunate and blessed because it could have been way worse. I had no place to go. I had no basement. I couldn't get out of the house to go to somebody's house who had a basement. I live in a small little house that doesn't have much room to like go to. So I was, I have like my bathroom basically. I can get my bathtub, and it's a really deep bathtub, thank God. But that's about the extent of it. So that was not my idea. But that was not the idea the way I want to spend my Saturday or my Monday on Memorial Day. There you go, Beth. Pinky out just for you. I keep looking at my phone, guys, just letting you know I'm just checking in with everybody. I'm getting messages from quite a few people. Big Scott Gary reached out to me. Somebody else has messaged me too. There's been a few people message me. Sorry, guys. I just want to make sure I respond appropriately to people because it's, hold on. Anybody want to talk about anything else? Please bring it. I'm here to talk or whatever. I'm just trying to keep my mind off of everything. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. So yeah, anyways, guys, anything else y'all want to talk about? Any other things you want to mention? No, I haven't caught any news, Alan. I haven't been able to turn on any kind of news or anything. So I have no idea what the news is saying about our area. I'm completely lost. And as far as what car, Gary, you're such a great guy, Mr. Big Scott. Any cards? Honestly, dude, I've been trying to save money because of the national. So I haven't had my own any main cards recently. I I had so many cards. I finally got through and like cataloged all my cards um over the last couple weeks. So I had a handful of care packages and then local card shows and card shops I've got done. So I finally got those like cataloged and I started putting them away and finally like sleeve them and sort them and all that. I haven't really bought a lot. What about you, Steve? Oh man, well they're saying the news is bad. It's bad. Well, I did not know that. I'm glad. Thanks, Beth, for telling me. Yeah, I haven't said. I'm glad to hear only one person was injured. That's good. I mean, I'm not neither injured, but there was only an injury. That doesn't sound like it's life threatening from based on what you said. So that's good. No wrestling. Yeah, no wrestling. I need to go get some. I need to go pick up some wrestling cards. You know, I love my wrestling, as does Steve. You know, you and Steve are wrestling fans. But yeah, the car shop I go to, Four Sharp Corners in Greenfield, in lovely picturesque Greenfield, Indiana. He has a whole bunch of blaster boxes for like cheap. So I need to go in there and pick a couple up for kicks and giggles. Um, but yeah, I'm just glad to hear everybody was okay. I'm going to check the news right now. Luke is on his iPad watching or playing his game, so I've been holding off on turning the TV on because once he gets his Fortnite on, I'm never going to see the TV again. Oh, the pay-per-view? How did that go? I keep checking my email to see if my bosses tell me like what the deal is. If like I'm out of luck, like there's nothing that can be done, like I'm just gonna get points or what? I don't know. Well, I'm glad to hear it. I just saw your email, Izzy. Thank you. Yeah, I'm good, man. Luca's good. Everybody's good. I mean, he was at his mom's, and so they didn't experience much other than just like a thunderstorm, But I was actually in the I was in the tornado. My house was. I wasn't literally in it, but I mean, I was in and around the tornado. It was all over around where I lived. It was awful. I'm responding to you. I thought about it, Mike. I mean, I've always thought about it, but the thing about it is, you know, Carter's car is that you're gonna change your name to Carter's kids instead of Carter's kids, um, Stevie. But yeah, I mean, I've always thought about it, Mike. That's like my like dream to open a car shop, and there's a part of me who thinks the guy who owns Tracy, the guy who owns a card shop in Greenfield, he's in his, I would say, mid 50s, mid to late 50s, that, there might be a chance if I could work something out with him where I could take over his shop if he wanted to retire or kind of like walk away from it, or he would sell it to me maybe. I don't know. I mean, that'd be awesome. I don't know the first thing about business, and you need to know business to own a card shop. Now, my ex-wife, she has her business degree, so maybe I could trust her that she can help me with it. She might know how to help me with that kind of thing. And since it's already an established business, I would just take up ownership. I would just have him tell me how to run it. I mean, how he runs it, I guess. But, I obviously have a passion. I think the main thing people talk about when they open like anything, if you have a passion, for whatever it is that your business is. If you don't have a passion for it, then it's never going to be successful. I had a friend of mine that I knew that I had an old job of mine years ago, way before Luca was even born. Yes, I'm in Pendleton. Do they say something on the news, Aaron? I live in downtown Pendleton. I'm sorry, I live in historic National Registry downtown Pendleton. They're really proud of that. As am I, as a Pendletonian, as a Pendlenese, as a Pentuckan. I don't know what the right word is. Oh, it is? I did not know that. Okay, I might have to go check that out. I mean, right now I'm at my ex-wife's house and we get along fine. I mean, we have a really good relationship. Not that anybody cares or needs to know all that, really. But I mean, like, she's fine with me being here right now. So, I mean, if it turns into like days on end, I need somewhere to go, I guess, maybe. But I'm assuming I could probably stay here or something. I mean, my house wasn't like, all right, man, see you later, Izzy. Thanks. I really appreciate it, brother. I'm assuming, she's not going to kick me out. Like if I need to stay here, like take a shower, at least clean up, but she will. Well, I'm glad you all can't smell me from there. Smell you later, dude. But as I was saying, I had a friend of mine who opened up a coffee shop because he thought coffee shops are popular. And I can make a lot of money opening up a coffee shop. But he had no passion for coffee. He didn't know anything about coffee. He just thought coffee shops are popular. So I'm going to open a coffee shop and I'm going to make money hand over fist. And he didn't know anything about it, and his business failed because he had no idea what he was doing. He had no idea about coffee, about how to run a business, about have a passion for it. He just was like, ooh, Starbucks is popular. This is like 15 years ago. So the Starbucks wasn't in any way, it wasn't like the way it is now, like where Starbucks is like literally on every corner in this area. This is more like 18 something years ago. So he thought, ooh, I'll get a coffee shop. That'll make money. And it just, when you don't know what you're doing, you don't have a passion for it, you're not going to do well. So it goes back to what you were saying. I mean, I definitely have a passion to have a card shop, and I definitely know the product and I know what I'm doing when it comes to that. But there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to owning your own business. I don't know if I would just hate to do all that and then not be successful. I mean, I'd rather be the kind of guy who would be like, the second in command or something, like, the other guy's in charge of running the back end of it, and I'm in the front end or something like that, where I'm able to like work with the public and like get the stuff and put the stuff up and order the supplies and all that, but not really worry about like keeping the lights on. Because I just don't have experience in that. I mean, I guess of course I could be educated and learn and do that, of course, but at 40 years old, and by the time that actually maybe be a reality for me, who knows? I don't even know if I even have my teeth anymore. I might be an old man. So, but yeah, I definitely, it's a dream I've always had to open my own card shop or any kind of thing for that matter. But yeah, I appreciate it. Oh, really? They're showing it on there now? Hey, Luca, they're saying that on all the news stations are showing Pendleton. If you want to see what it looks like, they're showing videos of what happened in Pendleton. I didn't know if you want to know, but I just like people are telling me on here that they're showing it. They're even showing it. That's it on Channel 8 News. Yeah. They said even in California, they're showing Pendleton on the news. I would just keep going until you find a news station. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, Pendleton. I'm watching it right now. Thanks, Luca. I heard Filmington Phil, he invests in Pokemon cards, and he made like some big money on Pokemon cards. So apparently there is money to be had in Pokemon cards, and I think Magic cards too. I have no idea how it works. I know that the products popular with packs and with children and I guess teenagers. But apparently there's like if you get certain rare cards or super rare, just like stuff that we have in baseball, that you can make some big money on that.
Sun's going to be out. We're going to be 80 plus degrees. We've got homes without air conditioners. Drink lots of fluids. Stay hydrated. If people do become ill and have medical emergencies with that, dial 911. We do at this point still have the shelter open up at Pendleton High School, so they do have.
Yeah, I'm watching the news and it talks about it.
It's too soon to say. Our goal right now, when I left the command post, they were waiting for the National Weather Service to arrive. So as soon as National Weather Service arrives, we'll have representatives of emergency management with them. They'll be doing a survey to determine what caused this. Was it a tornado? Was it straight line winds? Everybody's speculating right now, but we're going to wait for the officials to give us the official answer. From there, hopefully by noon, we're going to start with several teams of damage assessment folks from emergency management. They will be driving through the community out in the country, and they will actually be doing a survey of how many homes have minor damage, major damage, or inhabitable completely. So by this afternoon, later, hopefully by the 5 o'clock news, I'll be able to give you more concrete information on the numbers of how homes that are impacted by this.
Wow, it's like crazy, dude. Like I feel like it's not even us. I feel like it's not even me who went through this. Like the way it's talking, it's like crazy. Yeah, apparently there is. Yeah, apparently there is a way to make some money. Like I said, well, I think Phil said he sold a car for like the high hundreds, if not thousands, something dollars. So that's pretty good for a Charmander card or something. He said some kind of Charmander or something or another.
Sure. So quite a bit of there's definitely a path that goes through Pendleton in the area about the post office, across the state street, up through Falls Park, and then on out into Huntsville.
It's quite a shock. It really is. Could have taken our lives. Yeah, the seriousness. What she just said, along with what you were hearing from EMS.
Wow.
Pendleton, talking about all of the damage specifically right now in that town where the severe weather moved through last night.
Oh my gosh! Like I'm seeing these like pictures. Like I can't even believe I was there when it happened. Like I'm looking at the pictures on the TV. I'm sorry, I'm looking away, guys. It is like absolutely unbelievable. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Mike, no, I'm good, man. I thank you for offering. I know a couple other people offered online as well to me, and but yeah, I think I'm gonna be okay. I mean, just like little things that you got to deal with, like my all my food's all gone. That's in my freezer, in my refrigerator. I'm sure it's done. It's gonna be taken care of. I mean, I didn't even open it up because I want to keep it as cold as long as possible. But unless they get power back up relatively soon, I mean, pretty much everything's gone in my refrigerator. I'm going to throw all that out. So that sucks. All the food in the freezer and the refrigerator. So that's gonna, huh? Yeah, everyone. Thank God I didn't go grocery shopping. Yeah, that's a good point, Luca. Luca was like, "Did you go grocery shopping this weekend, Dad?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't had time." And he was like, oh. And then because I only picked up a few essential things. And thank God I didn't go grocery shopping now. Lord have mercy. Because everything would have been ruined. So I mean, I don't even know what to do. I'm going to have to call now that it's 9 o'clock. I'm going to call my insurance company, I guess, and like file a claim or whatever. I don't know how that's going to work. But I'm going to have to file a claim, I guess. But as far as anything I need, man, I mean, I mean, no, I really appreciate it, dude. I truly do. But I mean, I don't think there's anything I need. There's nothing, I mean, nothing like super important, I should say. I mean, like I said, my house seems to be fine. There was no damage to, like, no like major damage, like, causing in one person injured. Yeah. There's no major damage like in the interior of my home. Like the outside of my house is damaged, of course, the garage and all that, but nothing severe. Well, I appreciate it, man. I need a round trip ticket to come and visit you. We go watch a Dodgers game if you're offering up. Where they say they're at?
They're at Miami.
They're in Miami, Indiana.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a Miami, Indiana. You all who knew?
They're in Miami County.
Oh, Miami County.
Yeah.
Oh, Miami County. Oh man, I'll keep looking at my phone to see if like my bosses would respond to my email because I don't want them to think I'm like no call, no show. But no one's responding. I want them to know, like, hey, you're okay. Don't worry. Take care of your business. Or they're like, oh, you're out of luck. Too bad.
During their evaluation out here at this property. But in the meantime, of course, they're just beginning, so we're going to hopefully talk to them and get some updates. But I want you to notice that here in the background, I can't remember her name. Can you hold that up this morning? I asked him just a minute ago why he did that.
Oh my goodness. But anyways, guys, so yeah, man, I appreciate everybody popping on here with me. I think I'm gonna hop off for a little bit. I'll probably pop back on later. But I need, like I said, make a call to my insurance company to like get that ball rolling. I don't know what that situation looks like. I've never done anything like this before, so I don't know if it's like they wait until the city declares an emergency or they have their own people they send out that checks the entire town and see what damage has been affected by what houses and all that, or I had to get my own people out and do it, or I don't know. Like, I've never experienced this, and I don't know, but I'm sure there's going to be a process, and I don't want to go ahead and get the ball rolling. So anyways, I'll pop back on later this afternoon, maybe. And I appreciate everybody. I really do. I'm grateful. I love you guys all. Thank you for support. Thank you for being there for me. And if I need anything, I'll let you all know. But right now, I think I'm good to go, man. I really appreciate it, man. It means a lot. And until next time, yeah, Mike, thank you, man. Thank you so much. Until next time, guys. Peace.